was pregnant with my twins and a CMO role at the company opened up, I just assumed that I was not going to get this job. I had made up my mind that I wasn't as experienced as other people. I think as women, that we always tell ourselves when we look at a job description, I need to have all of these things.
So you disqualified yourself.
I totally disqualified myself. And I said, even if I was all those things, I'm pregnant and working with an all-male leadership team at the time. I'm like, they don't get this. And they're never, ever going to think that I am qualified for this job.
When we were working with a lot of women, they say, and we were going deeper, why didn't you raise your hands? One level is they say, okay, because I need to tick all the boxes. And on the other hand, they also say, it's because I don't want to put myself out there and then make a fool of myself. People say, because then what if she didn't get the job?
The first time that I didn't put my hand up, which I regret, was a defining moment. I remember it was like one day sitting at my desk and got a phone call. I saw the name of the president of the company and I was like, why is he calling me? And he was like, Sapna, I'm really disappointed to not see your name on the candidate slate. And I fell out of my chair.
Sapna, people will look at you, read your LinkedIn, watch videos of you and think, oh my gosh, this is a woman who would have put her hand up multiple times to get what she wanted to get here. Is that true or false?
Oh, that is definitely false. And it's been a lifelong learning, this one. I have failed to put up my hand many times.
Wow.
And so I look back and I'm like, how many times do I have to do something wrong before I start doing it right?
Yeah.
Because it's been a bit of a legacy for me that I didn't put my hand up many times.
Well, when was the first time that you didn't put your hand up?
The first time that was a defining moment was when I was pregnant with my twins and a CMO role at the company opened up. I was in marketing and I just assumed that I was not going to get this job. I had bets with people on who I thought was going to get the job.
Yeah.
I had made up my mind that I wasn't as experienced as other people. They had more years of experience than me, all men. I was told myself that I was a foreigner in the country that I was working in. And it was, so I, again, don't have the local experience.
So you disqualified yourself.
I totally disqualified myself. And then I said, even if I was all those things, I'm pregnant with these twins at the time. Right? I was 4 months pregnant and working with an all-male leadership team at the time. And I'm like, they don't get this. And they're never, ever going to think that I am qualified for this job. But I remember it was like so vividly. One day sitting at my desk, working diligently, and got a phone call. I saw the name of like the president of the company, and it lit up because, you know, the old phones, like you could see who was calling, the caller ID. And I was like, why is he calling me? And I picked it up and he was like, Sapna, I'm really disappointed to not see your name on the candidate slate. And I fell out of my chair and was, I mean, in that moment, I made up something because I didn't want to look like I hadn't thought about it or anything, right? So I lied, right? And I said, oh, it's been really busy. I've been thinking about it. I was going to reach out to you to seek some advice.
That's the right answer.
Which is that. But, and then he was like, do I need to tell you that you're the most qualified person for this role?
Wow.
And in my head, I'm like, yes, you need to tell me. Please tell me that that's the case. Because clearly I don't know myself. And I've disqualified myself, as you said it. And he's like, because if that's what I need to do, then I'm telling you now. And he says, I hope that I see your name on this list.
What a great guy.
Oh, yeah.
More of these, please.
I mean, is that an outlier situation?
It was an outlier because this was a leader that, there's some leaders you just know that they're looking after women and sponsorship is on their mind. This was not one of those leaders, right? He was aggressive in business, focused on everything, you know, helping to support women in their careers was not like something I saw him doing. Right? So this was an outlier. But you know what it told me is, I mean, he wanted to put the best person in the job. And
so you were probably overqualified, given the dimensions of how he was operating.
Probably. Now I look back and I say, yeah, my global experience was actually valuable, right? Like I looked at it as I'm not local, but actually my global experience helped me. I assumed that years of experience was the most important thing, right? And I assumed how other people were performing based on, and you can't, right? Because you don't see everything, you know. And so I remember I put my hand up and I got the job. And I remember telling myself, shame on you. You had to wait for somebody to call you, and don't do that again.
Yeah.
But then I've done that again multiple times, right? Because I think as women, we always tell ourselves when we look at a job description, I need to have all of these things, right? I don't want to put my hand up until I fully have these experiences. And so more recently, the role I'm in now, I didn't think I was qualified for it because I didn't have the first bullet. Which I thought was the most important. Right? And in this case, it was quite a bit of a learning because I needed my personal board to nudge me. So this wasn't the hiring leader telling me that I should apply. It was my network, some friends, my husband, my, people at work with me saying like, aren't you applying for this? And it was like a multiple, like, I had to be asked almost probably like 20 times. And I was like, okay, clearly I'm missing something on this one. Right. But in this case, the hiring leader didn't tap me on the shoulder for this. And I learned later, because he became my boss, I got the job, that he said, I don't want to tap people for the roles I'm hiring for. Especially if it's a critical role. Yeah. This person should know what they want. They should be hungry for the job. And I shouldn't have to nudge someone. He says, I might nudge people I know and people I'm looking out for to apply for other jobs, but not for the job I'm hiring for. He says it doesn't work like that, right? Especially in more critical senior roles. He was like, I want to, and I think that's a great, the great learning that I've had, because now I know, right, that I do have to do this myself. And I think I have finally cracked it. So the next time a role opens, I think now with all
that
of
you
these
really,
learnings,
really want, because like in all those roles, you really, really want it.
I really wanted it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so individual, I think, like in those examples about how a leader might approach hiring at senior positions, right?
Right.
Like I remember, and we are both in tech, and the last company I worked for, the reason I got the role was I didn't know I was already profiled. But what shifted for the hiring manager, the CEO, was that I asked him out for coffee and said to his face, I want to come work for you. I don't care when that happens, but one day I want to come work for you.
Yes.
And then months later, I'm into the role. And he says like, I needed you to hear you say that.
Yes. Yes. People want to know you really want it. Another great piece of advice I got from a leader probably 20 years ago. He said, it really bothers me that when I put a job posting out there, all of a sudden that's when everybody's interested. I'll get reach out, right? And he said, it is the people that tell me in advance, right? Like, I hope that something opens up on your team. Yeah. I'm in my role now. I'm happy. But I want you to know I'm interested in your team. I'm interested in your org. I'm interested in working for you, because it shows genuine interest. He's like, all of these people, and I see this happening to me now. When I open a role, people are like, I am so interested in that job. I'm like, funny, you have never expressed interest before. You meet me all the time. You have never told me that you're actually interested in working here or working with me. Why not, right? And that authenticity is really, it's strategy. Right? It is. You have to be strategic about this.
But it sounds so simple though, right?
Yeah.
But I think everyone listening to this right now is going to be like, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Especially women.
Yeah.
I think women, holding back regardless how qualified you are. Right. And then, because I was wondering, imagine you wouldn't have twins back then. Would you have vouched for it? Would you have raised your hand? Question mark.
I mean, that made it easier for me to say, oh, but this is also going on. And maybe it's also good for me that I don't get this job because it's going to be really hard
Yeah.
to be a CMO
Yeah.
with like these little
With
babies.
twins,
So
yeah.
it was easy to talk myself
Yeah.
out of it.
Yeah.
I think I would have thought about it a little bit harder
Yeah.
if that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
When we were working with a lot of women, they say, and we were going deeper, why didn't you raise your hands? One level is they say, okay, because I need to tick all the boxes. And on the other hand, they also say, it's because I don't want to put myself out there and then make a fool of myself. People think, because then what if she didn't get the job?
Yeah.
And then, she who does she think she is?
Yeah.
And the interesting part is that's only in the individual woman's head.
Yes.
Everyone said, okay, she applied, didn't get it. End of the story. So do you see the gender differences between men and women approach any of these roles?
Oh, definitely. I mean, what we think about what other people think, I think, I think that is definitely a plague that sits more with women. We care about so much about what other people think. Why?
Yeah.
I think everyone cares about rejection, right? Like it's not easy to get rejected that point that, okay, what will they say?
Yeah.
Like, why does it matter? Right.
Yeah.
That's what they should be telling themselves, but that's not what they tell themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Asking you shall most likely receive, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and I know the people are going to listen to it. It's like, you mean I can just rock up to like a senior executive and say, I want that job? Because there's also the other spectrum of people who are very confident, some overconfident, and they don't have capabilities to match that level. And they think they should be,
Right.
deserving of that promotion today.
Right.
But then in our heads, we're looking at them going,
No,
not yet.
not yet. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I think I practiced early in my career on this one by the reaching out. It's not about saying I want this job or I think I'm the most qualified. Say it the way you would feel comfortable, right? I remember one of my early days, I was in a job. I'd only been doing it for like a year, so I didn't think it was the right time yet to look at other things, but I saw some people doing something I wanted to do.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I don't know that leader. I'm not sure how to reach out to them. I ended up, LinkedIn didn't exist. I don't know how I found out that we actually are alumni from the same university. And then I was like, okay, let me just make casual chat, right? Like about that. Like, hey, maybe we can grab a coffee. It's as simple as that, right?
Yeah.
And they were more senior than me. I tell people today also, right? Like, I don't know why anybody can't reach out to me for a coffee.
Yeah.
And there's people that you just have to have something good to say, some insights to
Commonality
share,
or
right?
something, yeah.
It's not about sitting somebody down, getting coffee and being like, I think I'm the most, I really want to be on your team. I'm capable of doing it. That's not how the chat goes.
Yeah.
The chat is just like, hey, let's talk about the old days at Northwestern and I'd love to hear more about, I saw what your team is doing because I saw that you did this thing and that got my interest.
Yeah.
And through that conversation then saying, that is really interesting. And I would love to dive deeper into that and also if there are going to be openings in the future and in your world, I would love to stay close to you. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no ask to them. There's no like anything they have to do, but you're expressing yourself.
And that's the best kind when you have no ask.
Yes.
When you make friends or reconnect with
Exactly.
the important decision makers, when you don't have an ask yet.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then you did it before you actually needed.
Yes.
Right? So you're kind of planning ahead.
Yes.
And I feel like so much of what's happening with the disruptions of a lot of companies now, if you flatten hierarchies, restructuring, all of that, people are losing jobs. And then they forgot.
And they didn't do any of this.
Build this social capital.
It is, and I don't understand. I get frustrated because I still see it. I see friends doing it. I see people I work with, like they know that they need to be doing these things, but they don't. I think it's fear, right? Like it's the fear of the conversation going wrong, fear of somebody misunderstanding why I'm having this chat with you. It's all about fear. I think people know what they need to do. They're just afraid. And I think for me, starting early in my career, I had that chat. By the way, I ended up 2 years later on that person's team.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Right. So then it's
2 years later.
Yeah.
That's
So
the long
that
game.
is like, but then I'm like, okay, this works. So only when you see it working,
success.
then you keep doing it, right? So it's
Yeah.
become lifelong for me, right? Because I had that early experience.
Success experience, yeah. Probably also how you approach it. No? I think also this is for women. It's a bit, for example, often the decision makers are still men.
Yeah.
For example, I came from a very heavy, so commercial vehicle, very automotive, very male, white male, old male dominated industry. And then when suddenly back then I had quite a bad reputation because I was like this Asian woman, young, and going out to all the oldies and then ask them for coffee and then understanding. And I think they cut me a bit slack because culture differences. But, I remember one of my colleagues who is extremely strategic, capable. She's blonde, beautiful. She's from Poland. And she told me, if I were to do what you have done, I don't think the men, they might have wrong ideas, some of the things. Because it's just there. I can
You were
be
an
as
innocent Asian
you're
woman
innocent
that
Asian
didn't
woman.
know otherwise.
Exactly, in a way. And then she was back then. Was what? But it's true because then the lunch meeting, coffee meeting become then early drink become later drink. I remember our SVP, he didn't got off the call until 11 p.m. We were have this QBR in this hotel. He said the only chance is to have a drink, to have a conversation now is in the lobby. And then the lobby was closed. And okay, where could we have this conversation? In his room. And I was like, there was really a moment, but I was so confident that there is no. So I went to his room and he had this bar and then we had conversation until 1 a.m. And that was about, one of the division role in the future. And he said, this is going to be next year. And I think you should, these are the people you should get in touch with. We mapped out. And that's the only time where he had time and energy. And next day, someone saw us on the lift. And then there were rumors. And I was lucky because I was single in a way. There was no, or
Is that
unlucky.
lucky? That
Yeah,
you're single?
exactly.
I mean, if you were married, then
Maybe. Because my problem back then was so eager to get ahead.
Yeah.
I was whatever, once the gap is so big between the people saying things behind you, then it's over.
Yeah.
But it's still I think as a woman, there is certain nuances and layers that prevent us actually to reach out or to overthink whether we should reach out or not.
Yeah, and it's definitely become harder and more recently.
And with your team, which is now across Southeast Asia, which remind the audience, which is global, how many countries in Southeast Asia?
I look after 7.
Okay.
As a core responsibility, but we are much bigger than that.
17 markets, I
ASEAN has 11 markets right now.
And what percentage of your team is like Gen Z?
We're actually focusing on increasing it. For a while, I think things had slowed down in terms of hiring, but more recently, that's all we're hiring pretty much.
Yeah.
I would say about a third.
Yeah. Yeah.
A third. And we're realizing this is where it's tech, right? So you need AI natives.
Yes.
Right. So not people that need to learn AI. Let's just, hire the people that already know how to do this.
Yeah.
Though you can argue there's nobody that's really truly AI native yet. Maybe that'll exist in 5 years.
Yes.
Because even in school, they're still learning. Nobody was born with an AI spoon yet, right?
Yes. And these folks, because we hear a lot with leaders today, they have very different expectations. They are not, necessarily thinking about that 2-year plan.
Yes.
They're like,
now.
It's hard now. I'm out of here.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't even care if I don't have a job lined up.
Yes.
And what new muscles are you building to navigate, which I think will end up being more than 1/3 at some point?
Yeah. They have different desires from their leaders in terms of let's have transparent, almost open conversation. Right. And I think that especially, when you work in big companies, right, that there ends up being people are more guarded around certain things, but I think that's not what they want, right? They want genuine, they want authentic. So, and that's always been me. I can't not be myself with anyone, right? Like that's, and I think that works, right? So I don't think it's a new skill, but I have to realize, I have to remember that even though I might have a almost 25-year age gap or more with them,
Yes.
that I understand them, and I use, like, my twins are now Gen Zs, right? Like, and so I feel like I know a lot. I ask my kids for a lot of advice, right? Which helps me in the workplace to know what's on their mind. And
What's
they're
the
always
best
like
advice?
telling me like, "Oh, that's so not cool, Mom." Right? Like, and
What is not
like
cool anymore?
lately,
What's
like,
not cool?
like AI is not cool, right? Like, actually, what I think is interesting, right? Like I'm always like playing with things, and they're like, can you write yourself without using AI, Mom? Like that would be nice, right? Like if you, they're like, we can totally tell when you're using AI. Right.
Like a birthday message or something.
Exactly, right? They're just like, that you didn't write that yourself. We know that. Or that, why are you taking that picture and then editing it? Like we like the Gen Z selfie. Why is a Gen Z selfie a thing? It's because you don't even know what you look like when you're taking the selfie.
The 0.5.
So everybody is like, and you don't see yourself, right? It's like you're
Yeah.
trusting the camera will just like get you. And because of that, everyone's a little bit more nonchalant.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's what I realized. They're like, you need to be a little less scripted, a little less like, like made up and all of this. Right. Like, and so that's the best advice that they've given me. Because then I just assumed AI would be like, they would say it's easier. But they're like, that's not real.
Yeah.
And I want to know that I did it for real. Like, I'm very glad actually that this is how they think. I hope it lasts.
Yeah, because we actually come from the all of our generation where camera, you have no idea how it look like. You look into the lens.
Yes.
You have and then you have to develop.
Yes.
Right. The film.
Yes.
We have no idea how it looks like. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. It's almost like they're going back
Yeah.
to
More real.
Craving. Real.
Craving for.
So how do you balance that in a tech company? Like, I heard my friend say this to me this week. She just completed a master's in AI, and she's like, "Well, there's two angles. Are you a technology humanist or a human technologist?"
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's the use cases, right? That people want to see more profound use cases. Like just improving your writing is not really profound, or taking a visual, like making an image is not really profound. What's profound is like, can we use AI to help cure disease?
Yeah.
Which is some of the stuff we're working on. So I think, and that also appeals to obviously like
Because it's social.
everyone has purpose. I think Gen Zs care more about it. But I think like especially for us at Google, some of the things we're doing are not just for business improvement and transformation. It's like real life, big changing stuff, right? How can we use AI to save the planet?
Yeah.
Actually, like the work that we're doing there, like in terms of sustainability, I think sometimes people think AI is only going to make the planet worse.
Yeah.
Actually, AI is playing a big role in terms of efficiency, and so it's a bit of a balance. And so when you talk a lot about these topics, you can see their interest like really peaking. And I think that you have to have these areas which are really mission driven, mission first, and then you realize they don't want to leave. Like that's the good thing is we don't see the hopping. They want to do a lot of different things, but they're not leaving us, which is good.
Yeah. It almost feels like this generation, they kind of see that second mountain much earlier in life. Whereas like, at least for me, it had to come after making it, and my idea of making it was what my parents planted in me, like get the big job, a lot of money, right?
But I still look. I think we are in Asia, and I think still
that narrative
Asian
of parents?
Gen Z, the Asian Gen Z still has Asian parents.
Yeah. I'll tell you.
And so they are still, a lot of them are looking for the mountain too. I think you just find this diversity of you can't expect anything of anyone. You don't know their reality.
Yeah.
They probably won't, in our generation, when you always say, your parents said, lawyer,
engineer, doctor,
the three same with the Chinese as well.
Yeah.
Then we say, okay, There is no spinning back. No, I don't want to. Okay, let's follow this 3, one of them, and then we become who we are. And then there was just this generation, if we say the same thing, they're like, no,
You're
I'm
right.
not going to be an engineer.
I'm not. Yeah.
No.
But I mean, I also had the same parents, lawyer, engineer, doctor. I thought I wanted to be a doctor because that's what my parents wanted me to become.
Yeah.
But looking back now, it's like I'm like, Dad, are you happy I'm at Google instead of a doctor? He's like, yeah, I didn't realize, what the world was going to look like in 20 years
today.
from now.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think the Asian parents are widening the choices.
Yeah.
Also, more wealth is coming into society as well.
Yeah.
I mean, our parents, or my parents' generation at least, they have nothing.
Yeah.
So they came from nothing. They want a better life for you. So they think these 3 roles are the only roles that create wealth.
Yes.
And then now we are your children, my children, gonna inherit certain wealth already. So they actually have the freedom to maybe really save the world and do the things that idealists that actually make an impact in the world versus become an engineer and lawyer.
A lot of the women around the world, when they enter workforces, they typically end up in functional roles, right? The HRs, the marketings, right? Chief of staffs, assistants.
I've done so many of those. I was functional for more of my career than not. Yeah.
And I think like a lot of women are hungry to get into frontline roles, the business roles, right? You've made those moves.
Yeah.
So if you had to think about how you carved your path there, or what did you add to your toolkit that made you then a relevant and competitive candidate in business roles? Like, how would you advise anyone listening to this about that?
Because it's rare that women are making those moves, right? And unfortunately, I think we can tend to get comfortable in some of our functional roles or feeling comfortable being in a support role.
Yeah.
And so I spent many years, like more than a decade in marketing, working very closely with business leaders. That's all I did, like work with the business and day to day. And I started to get pigeonholed into being, but that was the thing that triggered me the most. I'm like, I don't want somebody to say I am a thing. I am a marketer. And because my whole career, what I've prided myself on is having a jungle gym of a career, especially in the earlier years. And so I tell people in their early years, you have to do lots of different things, right? Yeah. So in my early years, I did a product stint. I did an operations stint. I was a chief of staff. I had, I ran a call center for a period of time. Like I had done a bunch of different things, which and people ask me like, why would you have even wanted to go run a call center? I'm like, because you can learn leadership skills when all of a sudden I have to manage 200 people. Yeah. It's very different than managing a team of 3, right? Yeah. So tests you in certain ways. So that's what I prided myself on doing lots of different things that gave me the ability to think more expansively. That is one of even yesterday I was talking to my boss and he's like, Sapna, you're an expansive thinker. And I think about how did I get here? It's because I did all these things. Yeah. And that taught me that you can jump into things that you're not experienced in and learn. I didn't mention that I was in consulting. When I was in consulting, that's when I learned the most because you get thrown into situations and you have no opportunity to like, oh, I'm going to spend a month learning. No, you're billing the client. So you better know what you're doing. So you learn now you learn fast. And so I've always realized you can learn anything. And so that has been a strength of mine. But then I started getting pigeonholed, right? It's like, because I loved marketing for a while.
And the thing about marketing, because I think there's a lot of women in marketing. Yeah. Sometimes you just look at them as the purse holders. Yes. Right? Oh, we need some money. Let's call marketing.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, yes.
And then it's almost like this, forget about getting a customer faster to a yes, or all the great things that marketing does, right?
Right. I mean, sometimes there's some marketing jobs can be like sales jobs. where you have the goal and the target, but a lot of them are not. So I think it depends on the kind. I think I've had those experiences where I had a goal, right? Like I had to drive sales through marketing, right? And so that then gave me confidence, right? And so I think it's about, and I see a lot of women in marketing becoming certain types of marketers.
Yes.
Right. Which is, I think that's the thing. You have to
Like the events person
exactly.
or the campaign person.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Or the comms person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how would someone think about like learning about the business? Because you got to understand, you got to be curious maybe, right?
Yeah.
Like to understand like, okay, how am I contributing to the numbers? Because
Yes.
that's the ultimate.
Yeah.
What do the company cares about, right? Revenue, profit, risks, etc.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, you have to get close to the business, right? Like, and you should know the insight. Actually, the marketing insights should be powering everything, right? Because actually what you can learn everything about the business. It depends on your view on the world.
Yeah.
And what are you stretching yourself into doing that, right? Because that was my strength was doing the work, getting the insights, showing the numbers, and realizing that how it connected to very clearly to other people's goals, and then becoming close to those people. Right. And so I never looked at myself as reporting to the marketing head. I looked at myself as reporting to the business head. And so I ended up, even though they weren't my boss.
Yeah.
Right. So this is where you have to decide who's your boss.
Yes.
Right. And so I looked at the business head as he's my boss because
Yep.
I do have, I want to know I'm adding value. And if I know how much value I'm adding, then that's clarity for me, everyone. It'll help me in my performance reviews and other pieces. And then I'll also get close to these leaders. And that has then helped me, which then, because there were moments when I was in my marketing job that I'm like, I can do their job.
Yeah.
Right. I can do that for sure.
Because you were staying close and watching, observing.
Several times they told me to train the person, like because they would, I was in my role long enough that the business head would have changed, 3 times. And
So you were the only
Sapna,
constant.
can you onboard this person? Like, why am I onboarding?
I can do that job.
I can do the job, right?
I love that. I think that's like a top tip about your boss should be like the P&L holder, the business owner.
Yeah.
And then if you can link your work,
Yes.
right, and the impact of your work directly to say,
Yes.
Did you know that actually 30% of your numbers came from this thing?
Yes.
And you didn't even have to do anything about it, for example.
Yes.
It's just a different conversation, right? You're no
Yes.
longer a support function.
Yes.
You become like a advisor. You're like the board of that person, right?
Then how do you, for example, some of the career paths, right? If you are started, for example, in marketing, and then you did a great job, you become team of the marketers, then later become head of something. To a certain extent, for example, after 10 years, you kind of made your career path stick in marketing.
One area.
Now, if you move functionally, because now the GM role is open, they say, she's only a marketer. She needs to understand the purchasing, understand operations, so on and so forth. But you are actually too senior to move down.
Yes.
But actually do not have enough bandwidth or enough knowledge across functions in order to move to the GM. What are some of them? Do you have some tips for women who have, for example, done a stellar career? We have currently working with someone. After 10 years, you say, okay, the next role I'm stuck is the VP. Okay, now I probably get that role, but then that's the ceiling because I will never be the GM division, then the president, because I never done any other role outside of marketing. Bit sales, but that's it.
I mean, it's kind of the position I was in. Even though in my early career I had done all of these things, I then had done marketing for a long time. And that's why I said that first bullet on the job requirements, right? I didn't meet it, right? Because it was like general management experience of 15 plus years was like the first bullet. And I'm like, okay, don't have that, right? And then that's why I was surprised when people were starting to ask me why I wasn't applying. And what I heard from them was, you think cross-functionally, you act like a GM. And that's what I had realized in my role, even though I was the marketing person.
Yes.
They never looked at me like that.
Yeah.
Right. So I've always looked at, I've taken a job and I'm like, okay, this is what they want me to do. I think this is what they want me to do. I'll do that, but I also want to
Others.
fix broader problems. Let me, so that's where this expansive thinking, I wouldn't now start doing other people's work, but it was like, okay, there's other problems to solve.
Yeah.
How do I do this? Then am I bringing cross-functional teams together naturally?
Yes.
So they see me they don't see me as marketing leader. They see me as a leader.
Yeah.
Right. The biggest challenges in any company require cross-functional
Yes.
teams to solve them. Right. Otherwise you might just be solving the marketing problem.
True.
And I needed to, and that wasn't good enough. Like,
Yeah.
do you feel good if you just solve a
A little
problem on a
bit, yeah.
campaign or problem with one product metric, or like that's not good enough. And I think this is what I learned at Google, right? Like we want to solve the world's biggest problems. We want to make everyone in the world should have access to information.
Yeah.
Everyone, even if there's no internet, everyone should still have access to information. How do you make that happen? And so this idea of what are the biggest problems that we can solve? And so I've always put things on my own plate. I've always stretched myself into other areas. And then through being a leader of more than just my team, I never look at my team as just these people who report to me.
Yeah.
Similarly. So it's like I guess was my claim to fame. So that when the job opened, it was like, well, you do it every day.
Yes.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
And then I do know, I knew that in every one of my we go have long interview processes, that they would have said, you don't have the experience. So I had to be really awesome at answering that question. So you haven't done this.
Yeah.
But then I found ways to find the moments in my career where I actually had done those things, right? I had driven sales through marketing.
Yeah.
I had done, I had 10 stories that I could have picked, right? That I would have said and showed that I could do it. But I had to also acknowledge, yes, I haven't. You also don't want to not be humble as well, right? Because that's where I'm like, if I'm too they'll be like, she's crazy. Like, what do you? You can't. You don't have the experience. Acknowledge it too.
Yes.
Don't hide from it, right? And that was the approach.
Okay.
But a lot of people also tried to talk me out of it.
Oh, like from applying?
Yeah.
From that, for that,
What would they say?
A lot of people were like, nobody's done it and succeeded.
Oh, what did they mean by that?
Like, because of the few people who had tried it, none of them are still around. None of them lasted very long. So there was a crew that was like,
naysayers.
let's put the naysayers or the fear mongers, right? Like, and that did get in my head, right? Because I'm like, okay, I'm now in a pretty safe place. Should I
take the
why
risk?
make this leap, right? Yeah. I'm trying to get to my number, right? I'm like, how much I need to save. Why would I do this to myself?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
But that's when, again, personal board was like, we know you want more. You always want to stretch yourself. You're not somebody that's not a risk taker. Like, take the risk, right?
Yeah.
And then also my husband was a huge supporter. He was like, what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
Right. Like, so even if you don't last more than a year, then we deal with it. Right.
Yeah.
And so, I think having that advocacy so I hit 3 years, in January. So
Still there.
which is why now I get this question from a lot of, people. I would say not just women, but men and women on how do you switch functions and make this move.
Yeah.
And I would say the other thing that helped me was I did know the region quite a bit. And that's I was the head of Southeast Asia marketing. I knew everything about Southeast Asia. I was an expert in certain, to be an expert in certain places, and you can then do that, right? So this is the advice I give to people, that just be an expert in something that's then needed by others. But everyone's asking me, like, how do everyone wants to do different things in careers, right? I think that I think their fear exists with everyone.
Yeah. I had a coach who would say, fear will always have a seat in your boardroom, like in your head boardroom. You know, there's all these different seats sitting in your head, and fear will always have a seat in your boardroom. But you have a choice whether you give it power to make decisions or not.
Yeah. Well, that's where I think women give it definitely more power.
Give it.
Yeah.
They definitely give it more power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I heard 3 moves that you talked about on getting from functional into a frontline business role. One was treat the P&L business owner as your boss, your ultimate stakeholder,
Yes.
and get close to the business and be very clear about what impact you're driving
Yes.
that contributes to his or her business. Number 2, I took away like what you were describing was like just okay, this is my job description and this is what I'm supposed to deliver, but I'm going to give myself these other
Yes.
things to do. Like you gave yourself
Expand
all these
your
mini
JD.
special projects.
Yes.
You know,
Act like a CEO.
that gave like you acted like a GM,
Yeah.
CEO. And that includes not just focusing on your team, but it was as if you all work for me now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I'm going to take care of you all, not just you
Yes.
in the marketing team, right?
Yes.
And that cross-functional piece, especially for those working in big companies, like that is so
Gold.
key, right?
Yes.
Like if I looked at someone that would solve problems on their own, I'm like, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So that's the second thing I took away. And then the third thing was like bring something to the table
Yes.
that you're already an expert in that is going to like be super important to the role.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah.
More people should be trying it.
Yeah.
Well, I think just generally women, because we have so many things, especially when you make the biggest career jump, probably it's at the age where you're big or you're about to become a mom or you have very young kids. This is actually the career jump potential
Yes.
years, and then you are holding yourself back already personally saying, oh, I have, even if you have let's say a great support system at home, as a mother, you still have, your heart will always be partially with the kids. And then I had someone asking me or giving similar, advice. And she said, I can't barely do my current leadership role with 6 people. Now you're asking me for special projects across. I just don't have the bandwidth to do that, And then because half of my brain, I don't want to admit, but it's with the kids in a way because the errand have to run, and then, although I have great support system. Have you ever experienced, the bandwidth or mental load challenge?
I mean, it's impossible to not, right? Like and like that, especially with twins. Like I was like, I have to do everything twice,
Yeah.
right? Like, and so, but you realize, I mean, bandwidth is all. This is why I realized this. Okay, build bigger followership, have a bigger team through other people, because I realized how much I could get done. Like, oh my God. Okay, I have followership. Okay, now a lot of other things are being done.
Yeah.
Because I think usually it's like we become really busy, and I have to do all these things on my to-do list, and I have to do everything myself, right? But how do you get work done through others by inspiring others? And you don't have to be a like a huge leader of the team of 200 or anything like that. That starts when you have a team of 3. That was like this moment actually, and probably, when I joined Google from my previous CMO job, my team went from a team of 40 to 3. And a lot of people told me, you're taking a step down by going to Google, right? And I didn't look at it that way, because I said, look, it's an incredible company, and I'll be able. I was turning into a little bit of a financial services dinosaur at that point in time, right? And I said, this will help me. I'm going to learn. Team size is not everything, but I think people think about it that way.
Yes.
And when I had that small team, I'm like, okay, well, how do I get the work of 40 done, right? Well, then that's when I thought, okay, I have to bring people along. And that's when I realized I don't have to do everything. That to-do list.
Yeah.
That is unusual for women, right? Because we feel like, I'm already grateful that I got this role. Now I need to prove myself every day.
Yeah.
So to let go and trust that others will do equally good work and not risk my position. So, like so many female leaders find it hard to let go and delegate.
Yeah.
Sounds like you were like, yeah, actually, I'm just going to delegate so I have space to do what only I can do.
Yes. Yeah.
And
I don't
also-
think I had a choice because I felt like I was like, well, there was only so many hours in the day, right? I'm like, I was, probably sleeping less already. So it's not, I didn't like, so I knew I had to, that was the first moment in my career where I got a coach because I was breaking down. I mean, maybe now I sound like, I had figured it out and everything was great, but I was in tears.
The past.
A lot of the time. I remember that phase very clearly. And it was the first time I was like, okay, maybe I need a coach. And interestingly, I initially said, I should get a coach who's a woman who has kids, who has this experience. And I found a coach who didn't. Somebody had recommended. And and the best coaching experience I've had till this day. That's when I realized I'm like, this really is a thing. It's not just if you're not performing well and that kind of thing. You just to get through this, right?
Yeah.
But he gave me a lot of confidence in certain things, right? Based on, again, his experiences. And I think dads go through the same thing. It's not, and that the clarity that I got from that moment. Then again, what do you have to lose?
Yes.
Okay, maybe I try this out for 6 months and it gets me nowhere. And maybe somebody messes up something.
Yeah.
I still had my ways of like being around and helicoptering. I just didn't delegate and never look anymore, right?
Yeah.
But then that's when I realized light bulb went off. Like I don't need, and I think in the world that we're in, right? Everyone's like, oh, AI, like what is it going to do? I think it's empowering, right? Because I can delegate to AI many things that I don't. I can be more productive. I actually think this next generation is going to have it made, right? Because so many of them, the things that were just busy work are going to go away.
It's automated.
Yes.
The delegate part is really tough based on everything what you said, right? And I think there's one very subtle layer. No one wants to admit it, but for women saying, okay, now I am there. So I want the visibility in the sense of now, for example, global calls. We had one lady, she's a CHRO of the region. And we were running an event. And then she said, I would love to come, but I can't Thursday. And then I can't do Thursday evening. And then I said, any Thursday evening? She said, yeah, because this is a global call. I need to be there in every Thursday evening. And I remember this conversation with her. Uma was like, yeah, what's the added value you are adding? That's just a call, a global call. The first thing, you have to let it go.
You have to let it go.
But then I had a conversation after with her. She said, but then I'm not visible in the global call because the US call and then every function, the CHRO from all region are there. And that the fear of I'm going to be irrelevant.
Yeah, just to miss one call.
Yeah. I mean, that's interesting. I had a great leader who, there was this call that he had to join at like some ungodly hour. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And
which we get all
the time,
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
But he was really good about saying, let's all take turns with this. It actually was a call he should have been on. And, he's the most senior person, but he was like, I trust my team. Right.
Yes.
And I'm gonna just say, okay, you're gonna see a different person from my team.
Yeah.
Every week, when we took turns. And I thought that worked really well because, and it's that trust thing, right? I hope you have to trust your team.
Yeah.
And delegate and not be worried about yourself. Because if you're only worried about yourself, then again, you're not going to be a leader people want to work for. Yeah. People thrive and want to thrive under your leadership. Again, and I learned this lesson. I was leading a team of 3 men. Like that first job at Google.
Oh, right.
I was leading a team of 3 men. I could have been like, oh, I'm the woman. Why would I delegate to? But they were the best team I've had in my life in terms of like the moments, the light bulbs that I got at that point. But that trust in them, they made me look good, right? Like their work was so incredible.
Yeah,
still in touch with all of them 15 years later.
I was gonna say, like when you meet those kind of people,
and then you have to be a sponsor.
Exactly,
if you sponsor other people. They're going to do some really good work.
Yeah.
And it will end up helping you too, right? That's
always.
a long game.
Yeah. They make you look good. You help them progress.
Yeah.
And then as they move on, they're like,
Yeah.
who's behind, like, who's behind this amazing person?
Yes.
Sapna.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Right? It just all comes back. Yeah. Maybe it's the last question, but it's an important one. Like, when women miss those, I don't want to miss this global call because I gotta be there.
Yeah.
They gotta see that I am there. There's a political game to this, right? Because the higher up you go, you have to be comfortable to play this visibility game, this influence game. There's a lot of games that we play, right? And I know you talk a lot about like what you see is what you get with you. I don't know. I felt like
I do worry about this one though. Like I think maybe it's not the call because I think calls are overrated. Not everything in the world does not get done on a call.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But
But
I
calls
do-
might be the only time they see you
see you.
visibly because
I
you're not
find
close to the
You're not-
center.
True, but then this is where what I find difficult saying no to is the global meetings.
Yeah.
where you actually go in person. Right.
Yeah.
And this is why we were talking about this before. Like my travel schedule is crazy.
Yeah.
And it's partially crazy because of myself because I don't say no.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I can't miss that. Or I
Yeah,
can't miss that.
miss
And I
that,
can't miss
yeah.
that. So I have missed things personal that have mattered to me because I'm like, I have to go to that meeting. I have to show up.
Yes.
Because actually a lot happens in the side conversations.
Correct.
A lot happens.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and those you can only build
Yeah.
those relations. You don't build relationships when you're on a call with 25 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you're in the meeting at the headquarters,
Yeah.
Yep.
that's when that happens, right?
Yes.
And so I've never said no to
Yes.
any of those. But
Yeah.
I look back and I'm like, there's some I should have said no to. Definitely, right? Because it is, and you learn these things later in life, right? Priorities and other things, right? I've missed important moments from my kids for sure, which I regret.
Yeah.
So being more choiceful on
Yes.
when is it really, really important, and also
Yeah.
do you have to do it every
Yeah.
time?
Yeah.
And I've learned from several of my peers who are much better at this, right? And they do say no, and I'm like, okay, that is
Oh,
something.
it gives you permission.
It gives you
Yeah.
permission to also say
Yeah.
no, right?
Also, I feel like you can't get to the next role if you want the next role. If people can't see that you've got your bench ready,
Yes.
Yeah.
and
Yes.
like sometimes like just sending them
Yes. Yes.
signals like, oh yeah, like it's in a good place. Maybe we can move her.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because in the moment, I had this long time ago, my boss told me, because there was a time we managed a really critical project for $400 million. And then I become very irreplaceable. And I was in every call with the client and with the function and with everybody. And then in the leadership call, in the C-suite call, my boss came out and told me, Jingjin, there's a bad news for you. Everyone said Jingjin is doing a great job and she's irreplaceable. And he said, and I was like, oh my God, great. He said, that's the worst thing can happen to you because what we have now, because everything's in your hand. You
Yes.
are the relationship person to the client. And especially it's a Japanese project, and then they want to hold on the person as well.
Yeah.
You can never move. Now, next year, the plan you want to move, not happening. This was the first time, very counterintuitive.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
Irreplaceable is not
Irreplaceable.
necessarily
Yeah.
A good
thing.
thing. Yeah.
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 Especially when you want to move.
Well, Sapna, thank you. It's been an amazing conversation. If we had like anything that you want to give to anyone listening, like something that we didn't get to cover but you feel strongly about, you just want to send a message on anything, life, career, kids, tech.
Yeah. I mean, the raise your hand piece is the most important thing for me, right? Like
Yes.
it's the
And how
journey.
many times did you learn that lesson?
And like I talked about a few, but it would have been like 10, right? And and I'm still making the mistake later in my career, right? And so I would just urge people to not wait, right? To be nudged, right? It's great when you are, but don't make assumptions, right? And if that doesn't happen, because you want to show that you're genuinely interested, and remember that like lesson, right? Like, but also you have to have confidence in yourself and not disqualify. Like we are disqualifying ourselves, and every shot is important. And in rejection, you learn a lot through rejection. You learn, and feedback is everything. So even if you go through a process and you get rejected, you will learn.
Yep.
Those biggest rejections is when I've learned the most, right? And we should talk more about failure, right? Like I think overall, like that's when I've learned the most, right? Like when you fail.
Yeah.
But the toughest years are the years you will remember. I always tell people, like when your business results are off, now it sucks. But like 10 years from now, when you're the CEO, somebody says, tell me a story of a time that defined you. You're going to talk about now when like stuff is not great. Everything's not great, right? And that's not going to be. But don't disqualify yourself.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest thing I would want to leave with people.
Yeah. And I think what you shared earlier about what made the difference for you was having that tribe, your board of advisors. And your husband is a big part of that.
Yeah.
Like just
I have women in other tech companies are my tribe too.
Yes.
Right. I think, and people are always surprised with that, right? Because they're like, how can you have friends at Meta and at like Amazon? And are you allowed? Right? Like, why would I? Why am I not allowed? Right? We don't talk about confidential information, but we're going through the same experiences. So actually building my personal board has been the best thing that I've done.
Yeah.
I think people put all of these things off. They're like, they know they should do it.
Yeah.
They're like, when I have time, I will do it.
Yeah.
Important, not urgent. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because there's never time.
Yeah.
There's never time, or I'm afraid to reach out to these people. Why? These like that, if you don't create the board, if you don't network, if you don't tell people in advance that you're interested in a job 2 years ahead of time, it's not gonna be as smooth, right? And the investment in time is gonna help you feel lighter, right? My board and the investment in time to create my board.
Yeah.
It now makes me feel lighter. I feel like I can do anything.
Yeah.
Because I have other people helping me feel that.
Yeah.
Right.
And actually getting outside of the people you meet every day.
Yeah.
The worst thing is to have a personal board of people that work at your company.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is when I ask people, tell me who's on your board. And they're like, I'm like, that is not
the
a board.
Yeah.
That's like
The
your
same circle.
friends at work who think exactly like
It's
you.
Yeah.
And also like,
And they might not think the best in your interest.
Exactly,
their
because you're
interest might be
competing with them
affected, and you're competing with
potentially,
them.
right? So
Or even they might not tell you the truth. They
they won't
need
tell
to
you
hear.
the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's I think sometimes people think all these things are like
Yeah, like a woo-woo, nice.
exactly. Like,
It's not tangible.
It's like fill out a template. It's not a template. Or like, it's the new buzzword.
No.
Create your tribe is the new buzzword.
Yeah.
But it's not and that's where I feel like it has really worked.
Yeah. Very different to having a set of friends. Thank you for that distinction. It was great to have you, Sapna. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hi, I'm Jingjin.
And I'm Uma. You're listening to Founding Voices, conversations that power the Elevate Group, a special podcast series featuring the incredible women who helped bring this community to life.
Each founding member brings a bold voice, a powerful story, and a perspective we all need to hear.
These aren't just interviews, they are raw, real conversations about what matters most to them.
From health to leadership to legacy, we go deep. And we promise you will walk away with insight, inspiration, and something worth sharing.